third topic about political science. So far we have discussed two topics, and पहले topic में हमने किया था case study of Belgium and Sri Lanka. We have seen actually how the power was shared in Belgium and that of Sri Lanka. दूसरी topic में हमने पढ़ा कि why is power sharing important or why is power sharing desirable in a country. How does power sharing help in maintaining the unity of a country. So आज का जो topic है हमारा वही है कि हम जो हमारे इंडिया में है what are the different forms of power sharing in India. So far we have discussed two topics, and the chronology of the topics I'm going to discuss this one. We have the common forms of power sharing in India. Number one, we have that power is shared among the different organs of the government. Now, what are the different organs? These are legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature का क्या काम है? It makes the laws. Now, legislature, the function of legislature is to make the laws, and that of executive is to implement the laws or to execute the laws. The very term suggests it. And that of judiciary is to interpret the constitutional validity of the law. So, any law passed by the legislature before implementing the law is referred to judiciary to interpret the constitutional validity of the law. So, before implementing the law, the judiciary actually decides the law, whether the law made by the legislature is accordance with the provision of the Constitution of India or not. If it happens to be against the provisions of the Indian Constitution, the law is referred back to the legislature for further amendment. Then on, it's possible to execute to implement it. So, the legislature is consisting of a parliament of India, which we know as parliament, and we have the legislative assembly. And the executive is composed of Prime Minister of India, and the finance ministers and Minister of Human Resource Development, and all the local bodies which are helping in executing the laws. You can say the police organization and the district collectors at district level. And another, you have judiciary is composed of the Supreme Court of India and that of high courts and lower courts, which help in actually interpreting the constitutional validity of the law. So this system is also known as horizontal division of power. Why? Because these three organs actually exercise their powers in a horizontal way. Means they have actually equality of stats in the exercising of powers. None of the organ has actually is superseding in exercising the powers from the other organ. That's why this system is also known as a system of sharing the power in a horizontal way. Another term referred to these three organs is system of checks and balance. Why is it known as checks and balance? First, there is balance of power. Second, there is check is properly maintained by one organ on the other organ. For example, legislature makes the law, but before implementing the law, the judiciary is there to interpret the constitutional validity of the law. As I have discussed before, that before executing the law, the judiciary is there to interpret the constitutional validity of the law. If the judiciary finds that the law is against the provisions of the Indian Constitution, the law is referred and is kept in abeyance. And this is the first organ of the government through which the power is shared. Now, another, we have power shared among the different levels. Now, we have actually three levels in Indian country. It is at central level, and second you have state level, and third one you have community level, or you can say a district level. Now, at central level you have, which is actually holding the entire country, which exercise the powers on the entire country. And that at state level, which is headed by chief minister, is actually exercising powers on a state. Then you have local, which is actually referred as Panchayat Raj nowadays, after 72 amendment of Indian Constitution. Now, the central actually is holding the entire country. So you have the federal division of power, means when the power is divided into different levels, it is known as federalism. About federalism, we'll be reading in the next chapter in a great detail. So far, you have to see that power is shared among different levels, central, state, and local. Now, this is Panchayat, okay, as you have seen this. Now, let's move on to the third point of your topic. Power sharing among different social groups. Now, you have seen in the case of Belgium and in Sri Lanka, you have seen in the case of Belgium that power was actually shared among different community level governments to maintain actually balance of power. Similarly, in a democracy, the power is shared sometimes in the linguistic groups. For example, a specific community is given a power based on some specific language. You have the religious groups also in some democracies working. You have the community type of government based on local level government, which is known as democracy at grassroots level. So these are the three actually groups among which power is shared. Another point which we have is power sharing among different political parties. Now you have got plethora of political parties in India. Those parties which can in power actually exercise the powers. Now you have sometimes what happens what's known as coalition government. Different political parties come together to form the government. All these political parties who come together form the government actually exercise a kind of power. That's why the power is shared among different political parties. Now, you have seen here parties, for example, in India, you have the plethora of parties which exercise the powers. You have the actually power held by the Bharatiya Janata Party at the central level, and at the Delhi, you can see the Aam Aadmi Party functioning under the Kejriwal. So now another topic, another point that we are going to discuss is power shared among different pressure groups oblique interest groups. Pressure groups are those groups we actually pressurize the government to get their interest to fulfill it. Now you have these interest groups in the form of trade unions, sometimes trade unions, and you have students association, and you have workers association. You have different organizations and associations working at the same time to actually pressurize the government to get their interests fulfilled. So these are the common forms of power sharing which we have discussed in the short video. And this is actually the end of your chapter number first. Next time we'll be studying about federalism, inshallah, in great detail. And don't forget to subscribe the channel to get the latest updates. Thanks.